So if you plan to buy a car right now, you are likely keeping a very close eye on the sticker prices in showrooms and the latest news on Trump's tariffs. So the president has imposed a tariff of 25% on all foreign-made automobiles. Here to explain what this means, we've got Mike Gebb, and he is the executive director of Auto Dealers Association of Greater Philadelphia. Mike, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is certainly something that a lot of people are talking about. So organization is a regional trade association, or your organization is a regional trade association with nearly 200 new car and truck dealers in the greater Philadelphia area. So you've got a lot of knowledge when it comes to this topic. So what is your reaction to the president's announcement?
You know, it's one that is almost in line with the consumer at this point because the dealer is waiting for some direction. The dealer needs to get the pricing from the manufacturer, and the manufacturer hasn't had time to really fully absorb what this tariff means to the car production. Because if a car is produced here in the States and it's rolling off an assembly line here and it's using 100% American parts, then it's not subject to the tariffs. If it's rolling off an assembly line in another country and coming across the border, it is subject to the tariff. So the manufacturer needs to decide how they're going to spread that cost out across their entire lineup, probably not specifically car by car, but how it's going to affect the entire lineup and the pricing across for the consumers and the dealer.
More about how costs like this end up getting passed along to the consumer, and are American-made cars or American-made car brands, are most of their parts made here in the United States?
Well, it varies manufacturer by manufacturer, and that's the thing. What is an American car anymore? Because on May 3rd, they're going to start putting a 25% tariff now on auto parts, large auto parts, engine components, things like that. So even if that car is coming off an assembly line here in America, now the parts going into that car are coming from a foreign source and are subject to a 25% tariff. So it may not get the full 25% markup, but it's going to get a markup, and inevitably costs like that are going to come down to the consumer. It's going to happen.
And when do you think consumers will see that change? If I walk into a dealership right now to go to buy a car, is it already in place? Is it already affecting me, or maybe a few weeks, few months down the line?
Well, that's the thing. Car sales actually for March are up 13% over March of last year. And that's because a lot of people have gone out to buy the car now, because the cars that are currently sitting on the lots at dealerships and on soil at the ports already waiting to be delivered to dealers are not subject to that tariff. Cars coming into the country as of 12:01 p.m. This morning, they are subject to the tariff. So that's the inventory that's currently here. Consumers are going out to grab it now to try to get a hold of it before those tariff markups go into place. And the manufacturers on the other end, they're holding back from shipping these vehicles until they figure out the pricing scheme, because they have to affix a label to that car and the pricing to the dealer.
And I'm not sure if you'll have the answer to this, but do you have any idea how much that price will increase? Are we talking $1,000? Are we talking $10,000? What do you think it could be?
Well, when you're looking at it from a consumer end, consumers almost look at the monthly payments, right? So the overall cost of the vehicle could go. I've seen estimates from $3,000 to $10,000 per car, depending on the vehicle. What that means to a consumer when they're sitting in front of a dealer and they're trying to figure out their monthly spend and their budgets, it could be anywhere from $150 to $200 a month, which is a big impact on anybody, especially the middle class. And when you're looking at what is considered to be an entry-level vehicle or something that's below the average, cars are already so expensive. They've reached their most expensive level in so many years. They're at $45,000 to $50,000 on average. So now you're really looking at, like, let's say a $30,000 car going from 30 to 33 or 35, and stretching that monthly budget a little bit more. That's going to be tough on a consumer, no doubt about it.
It absolutely will. So what is your best advice for people who are in the market for a new car or a truck? What should they do right now? Should they look at used cars? Should they buy a car as quickly as they can? What would you suggest?
Well, that's the thing. So, you don't want to panic buy in these situations. You have to look at your budget. And if you're in the market for a vehicle and you've already set aside and you have the money available to purchase a new vehicle, I would certainly say that going and getting one that's on a dealer lot right now would make sense. Used car or a new car, because what's going to happen is, as the new car market goes up and people shift to the used car market is going to raise as well. And that gap between new car and used car is going to narrow a little bit. So, anything right now is going to be less expensive than it will likely be in a month. But that doesn't mean that somebody should go out in the second largest purchase outside of a home and make a decision that doesn't fit your budget right now. People need to use some personal discretion on what they can make work. But certainly, if you're in the market pushing that ahead a little bit, like a lot of people obviously have to get those March numbers up, makes sense for some people.
Mike, thank you so much for your insight. A lot of good things that you taught us here this morning. But if people want more information about you, where can they go?
So if they want more information about me, you can go to our website is morethanautodealers.com. We're a trade association for the new car dealers. We also do the Philadelphia Auto Show, which is our most consumer-facing event that we do every year. But talking with your dealer directly, trying to work out the best deal for you, that is absolutely the best way to go.
All right, Mike, thank you so much.